The secrets of Pablo Escobar. He had so much money that he burned $2 million a week just to stay warm. Not to spend it, to stay warm. His accountants estimated he lost 10% of his fortune every year to rats, moisture, and mold. That's more than the GDP of some countries. You've heard about the drug lord, the terrorist, the monster, but nobody told you about the rest. The man who funded soccer fields in the slums, while ordering judges assassinated the same evening. The man his own children loved. The man whose darkest secrets are still unknown to most people on this planet. Today, we go where Netflix documentaries don't. The Hidden Empire. What people don't know about his fortune? Most people think Escobar was rich. They massively underestimate how rich. At his peak, the Medellín Cartel controlled 80% of the global cocaine market. Escobar was making roughly $420 million a week. Not a year. A week. But here's what nobody tells you. He didn't know what to do with all that money. His teams buried millions in fields, inside walls, under houses. They built stashes in locations so random that even Escobar himself couldn't remember where everything was. According to his son, Juan Pablo, billions of dollars are still buried somewhere in Colombia. Millions of banknotes rotting underground for 30 years. He also had a completely absurd logistical problem, finding enough bags to carry the cash. His men would buy truckloads of duffel bags, crates of rubber bands to bundle the stacks. Managing the money was almost as complex as managing the drug supply chain. The bank that helped him and Escobar didn't act alone inside the financial system. In 1991, the BCCI, Bank of Credit and Commerce International, collapsed in one of the biggest banking scandals in history. Investigators discovered it had been laundering money for the Medellín Cartel, African dictators, intelligence agencies, and Western governments. Bankers in New York, London, and Paris were taking commissions on Escobar's blood money. Nobody went to prison for it. The man, his family knew, the family man. This is probably the most unsettling part. Pablo Escobar was, according to everyone who knew him in private, a loving father and an attentive husband. His son, Juan Pablo, now Sebastian Marroquin, an architect and author, wrote in his memoir that his father read him bedtime stories, taught him to play soccer, built him toys with his own hands. One night, hiding in a cold, damp safe house, Escobar burned $2 million in cash to keep his family warm. His son was cold. It was all he had within reach. That image says everything. A man capable of absolute tenderness and of unlimited brutality. Psychiatrists who studied his profile say this duality is precisely what made him so dangerous. He felt no contradiction between the two sides of himself. Did his wife really know? Victoria Eugenia Henao was 15 years old when Escobar, 26 at the time, started pursuing her. In her own memoir, she claims she was unaware of the true extent of his crimes for years. Many people don't believe her. But here's a detail that changes the picture. When Escobar died, it was she who had to negotiate the survival of her children with the Colombian government, rival cartels, and the United States. And she succeeded. She changed their identities, smuggled them to Argentina, and survived decades of death threats. This woman was not naive. She was a strategist. The enemies and the accomplices, the CIA, knew and looked the other way. This is where it gets truly uncomfortable. In the 1980s, the United States was fighting two simultaneous wars in Latin America, the war on drugs and the war against communism in Nicaragua. Declassified documents and U.S. Senate hearings, the Kerry Committee report of 1989, established that pilots working for the CIA were transporting weapons to the Nicaraguan Contras and flying cocaine back on the return trip. Some of those flights moved through networks connected to the Medellín Cartel. The CIA never officially collaborated with Escobar, but it turned a blind eye to networks that benefited him because those same networks served its geopolitical interests. Manuel Noriega, the Panamanian dictator who facilitated drug trafficking, had been a CIA informant since the 1970s. He was earning $100,000 a year from the agency while laundering Escobar's money. Los Pepes, killers funded by whom? When Colombia and the United States decided to eliminate Escobar, they allowed and quietly supported a paramilitary group called Los Pepes, perseguidos por Pablo Escobar, those persecuted by Pablo Escobar. Los Pepes was financed and led by the Castaño brothers, who went on to become the leaders of the AUC, the paramilitary organization responsible for thousands of massacres in Colombia throughout the following 2 decades. In other words, to kill Escobar, they armed people who then committed atrocities for the next 20 years. The DEA knew. Search Block, the Colombian elite unit hunting Escobar, knew. Some American agents were sharing information with Los Pepes about Escobar's hideouts. This isn't a conspiracy theory. It's in the official reports. The strangest secrets. The hippos nobody expected. Here's a secret that has nothing to do with politics, but is absolutely fascinating. Escobar had a passion for exotic animals. His main property, Hacienda Nápoles, was a private zoo spanning hundreds of acres. Elephants, giraffes, lions, kangaroos. After his death, the Colombian government relocated most of the animals, but 4 hippopotamuses were left behind. Today, it's estimated there are between 130 and 160 hippos roaming freely through Colombia's rivers. They've been reproducing for 30 years, with no natural predators in a near-perfect environment. Scientists call them the cocaine hippos. Some argue they're actually improving river ecosystems by filtering water and creating new habitats. Others say they're a growing threat to local fishermen. It is officially one of the largest invasive species events in modern history, all because a drug lord liked animals. The prison he built himself. In 1991, under international pressure, Escobar agreed to surrender, on one condition: he would choose his own prison. La Catedral was built to his specifications, on a mountain he owned, guarded by his own men. Inside, a jacuzzi, a soccer field, a bar, a bedroom to receive his family, an office, a direct phone line. He continued running his empire from his cell. He threw parties there. Celebrities visited. Politicians came to pay their respects. When the Colombian government finally tried to transfer him to a real prison in July 1992, he simply stood up and walked out into the mountains with all his guards. He spent the next 16 months on the run. He had an informant inside Search Block. Here's a secret that very few documentaries even mention. During the final manhunt, Escobar had informants embedded within the very unit tasked with killing him. That's why every time they got close, he vanished hours before they arrived. It wasn't luck, it was intelligence. Only after his death did investigators begin to understand the true depth of the infiltration, the aftermath, and what remains his death. Who really pulled the trigger? On December 2nd, 1993, Pablo Escobar was shot dead on a rooftop in Medellín, one day after his 44th birthday. The official version? Colombian special forces tracked him through his phone calls and neutralized him in a shootout. But there's one bullet that raises questions. A bullet behind the right ear, point blank, execution style. His son Sebastian Marroquin is adamant his father did not commit suicide, and Search Block agents were not firing point blank at a man already on the ground. Who pulled the final trigger? Los Pepes? An off-books American operative? A hitman from a rival cartel? We still don't know officially, and the Colombian archives from that day remain partially classified. What his legacy actually left behind Escobar is dead, but the market he created never stopped. The Cali cartel took over, then the FARC, then the BACRIM. Today, Colombia produces more cocaine than at any point during the Escobar era. His death didn't solve the problem. It just fragmented the power. In Medellín, the city he terrorized is now one of the most innovative cities in Latin America. It has won awards for urban planning, public transit, and social transformation. The Colombian people did something extraordinary. They refused to let one man define their identity. Pablo Escobar wasn't the devil in a suit. He was something more disturbing than that. An ordinary man with love for his family, generosity toward the poor, and an unlimited capacity to dehumanize anyone who stood in his way. What should really trouble us is everything that made him possible. The banks, the governments, the markets, the consumers. Escobar is dead. The system that fed him is still very much alive. If this video taught you something, you know what to do.